Righty-ho! Beautiful! Hello, Lake! How you doing? Let's get a warm-up, shall we? Righty-ho! Hello, Kirby! I do hope you're well. What are the axial parts of the body? Parts in line with the midline. An atom or group of atoms that carries a positive or negative electric charge as a result of having gained or lost one or more electrons. Ion. Who was Galen and what did he contribute to anatomy? He was a 2nd century Greek physician or astronomer? Physician. He did detailed anatomical sketches via vivisection of pigs. Nice. Right, what type of tissue? Let's see. It's not striated. Smooth muscle? Nice. Ooh, what is active transport? When a carrier substance inside the cell transports substances in and out of the cell. It's called active transport because energy is used in the process as opposed to generated. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go for 10 straight leg raises. Yeah. Ba-ba-do-do-do. Hello, Doc Willow. Good to see ya. Right. Keeping our volume low. Okay. Should we expect more Subnautica later? We can do Subnautica again tonight, sure. Okay. Let's note that down. I think we got 10 there, so far as I know. Now, we are moving on to deficit machine sit-ups. Yeah. Or just deficit sit-ups, I guess. This is one of my favourite exercises. I am a big fan of it. You should position this correctly. There we go, that'll be fine. Oh, no it won't, it's very much off centre. There we go, that will be fine. Oh, I should up the height of this. So, how are you, chat? How are you doing? By the way, I did another interactive quiz to the front of the Workout Ways website, so hopefully that'll be helpful to people when they're looking for services and programs and such. Right. Give me a tune. Yeah. I don't dare look at the mod pack for Sunday. Oh yeah, we're doing Control Company, aren't we? Awesome. What are the characteristics of simple epithelium? So simple epithelium is a single layer of cells atop a basement membrane. Goblet cells are often found in this type. Single layer of cells attached to a basement membrane, goblet cells that secrete mucus are often found. Nice. What occurs during the metaphase of mitosis? Nuclear membrane disappears. Chromosomes arrange themselves at the center of the cell, attached by spindle by the centromere. With the end of phase, each individual chromosome can be seen as two chromatids beginning to pull apart. Nice! Paired rod-like organelles, right angles to each other, play an important role in mitosis, centrioles. What are the characteristics of compound epithelium? So, compound epithelium, multiple layers of cells with no basement membrane, thicker columnar cells towards the bottom, columnar and cuboidal, and there's thinner squamous cells towards the surface. Right, so, chat, we're now moving on to deficit sit-ups. The reason we're doing deficit sit-ups is because we're actually working different pressure states, if you like, or stimulus states of our rectus abdominis, which is the primary muscle that forms our six-pack, or abs, if you like. And what we were doing before is we were bringing the legs up. Our rectus abdominis has an insertion point on the anterior region of the hip, which results in this crunching motion, and that's what your abs do. So we can train the abs by bringing our legs up and contracting basically hip to chest. We can also train the abs by going hip to chest to hips, which is what we're doing in this one. So if you want to think about it like this, in the former exercise, we're training the lower portion of the abs, or we're putting the pressure. The most difficult part of the exercise is at a contraction, whereas with this, the most difficult part of the exercise is at fully centric, so when the muscle is fully stretched. So we're just providing a more comprehensive stimulus by doing both of these exercises, because they are slightly different in the way that they impact the muscle fibers. Okay, hello Iron Eagle. Let's get our warm-up, shall we? Probably move you guys so you get a better view of this one. A bit of an odd feeling halfway through that in the left posterior hip. That's moderately concerning. We'll keep an eye on it. What is herpes simplex? Cold sores, essentially. What is the function of Langerhans cells? They act as immune cells ingesting unwanted invaders. I looked on your website and unfortunately I'm 108 miles away from you. That would be quite a commute, fine sir. I mean, you can look into the online coaching if you're interested. I've been adding lots of different training programs to the PT Hub, most of which don't include in-person training. It's all via the hub with workouts and nutrition and things like that. So it's worth looking into for sure. I recently added the Precision Muscle Game Plan. How many bones in the body? 206? Yes. Give an example of a synarthrotic joint. The sutures between the bones of the skull. Name the 6 types of synovial joints. Hinge, plane, ellipsoid, saddle, ball and socket. Hinge, pivot, ellipsoid, plane, hinge, ball and socket. Did I do hinge twice? Might well have done. What are sesamoid bones? Bones that form inside of tendons. Looks like a sponge found at the end of long bones, flat bones, and in irregular and sesamoid bones. Bone marrow only found in this type of bone and produces bone cells. What does this describe? Lake, I don't know a huge amount about you, but that sounds like an absolutely abysmal idea. You said you're what, like 140 kilos? So that's like almost somewhere close to 300 pounds. 1,200 calories is so far removed from from your regular diet or what you would naturally eat, so as to represent a huge divergence from your norm, from your baseline. As a result, it's probably representing a very transient state for you, something that you're not able to maintain. Were you to get to a desired weight, you would have an incredibly high likelihood of relapsing to that former weight because you're not training habits. Now you're going for this incredible divergence from habits that you've built up, which have led you to your current state. So I would recommend a far more gradual departure from your norms. Just spend a week where you count what you eat. Right? You don't try and control what you eat, you just count it. Right? And get an idea of what your daily calorie intake is. Let's say it's 3,000. I've been on this for about 2 months. Damn, like that is incredible willpower, Pfizer. But my God, that is below 1,200 is insane. It's absolutely abhorrent. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, what I would do, were you to come to me as a client, is I would get you to track what you're eating for a week. If you're sort of 140 kilos, probably over a period of like 6 months, you're going to be averaging somewhere around 4,000 calories per day. Somewhere around there. That's just an estimate. I don't know how tall you are, but it's going to be a likely average if you were still gaining weight up to that point. So at that point, what we do is just target 3,900 for a week, then 3,800, then 3,700. Right? It's slowly building better habits. We could look at what we're eating. Can we swap something to a no sugar or low sugar version? Can we swap a regular pasta for a whole wheat pasta or something like that? It's these tiny things which add up hugely, because our weight is not something that occurs overnight. Right? We get to the states that we're in over a huge amount of small decisions and small optimizations and habits. And so getting out of that in the same way is, in my opinion and experience, very productive. So this is likely, like, if you find at some point like you just can't do that anymore, or, and unfortunately with the way you're going about it, I think this is quite likely, that you end up in a binge phase, right, where you're gonna overeat massively for a long while and start beating yourself up about it. I've been there myself. Just bear in mind that that's not a result. That's not meaning that you can't achieve a goal weight. It just means you need to reapproach it, and likely approach it more cautiously, more steadily. Right? Your weight didn't get there overnight. It shouldn't disappear overnight either. I mean, if you can get to your goal weight by eating 1,000, 2,000 calories daily, and you can stay there afterwards, I will be incredibly surprised, but goddamn impressive work, for sure. I would just be cautious, Spencer, and do be aware that with that modality, it is quite likely that you will have a rebound of some description. Okay. Right. So, chat. Yeah. Huzzah! Come me. happened once before to me, that's why it's easier to stay on track now and avoid that. Yeah, I mean, as I say, if you can do that, then, awesome, very well done. But, I'm trying to sort of open up an off-ramp or another option for you to have, in the event that does happen again. It is perfectly valid and, in my opinion, wiser to take a slower approach to weight loss, particularly when we're talking about weight management, in the absence of cutting down to hit a certain weight for a certain time period. If it's just about health reasons, doing it slowly is generally more advisable. It will stick. Well, when it comes to fitness, the longer it takes to get, the longer you will have it. Right. So, chat. Deficit sit-ups with 20 kilos. Why does this feel ridiculously heavy? Am I mad? I might be mad, hang on. Let me check. Oh, that's actually what I'm meant to be using. This is weight 19. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Let's put a weight on the bottom of this so that it doesn't fall over, shall we? Because I feel like I almost died. And almost dying is bad for your health, chap. Okay. Cool. I mean, we can do Lethal Company tonight. I can do some Nautica as well. I don't mind. Alright. So, chat, now we're going to move on to cable rope crunches. And we are doing them with 42 kilos. I say we're doing them. As I discussed before, we are at some point going to hit a limit with this exercise. Because I have to weigh down the weight as I'm doing it. This exercise is weird. Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know how tall you are, which is a sort of relevant factor. Most certainly it gives a better ballpark of what your BMI might be. I don't know what your frame is like, so how much muscle you're carrying, that sort of thing. That's also relevant. But yeah, sedentary lifestyle does very much inhibit caloric expenditure. It may well be worth you looking into something like an under-desk cycle or something like that. Regular strength training as well. If you are looking to achieve long-term weight loss, particularly for you, I don't think you have any experience with sort of weight training or sort of working out in a rigorous fashion. But for long-term weight management, and I mean in long-term, think a year, that sort of thing, a 3 days a week structured resistance training program stands to up your base metabolic rate by probably about 100 to 200 calories per day. So, that's going to be, 1,400 calories extra per week that you're burning just by being sedentary. Like, just by existing with that much more metabolically active tissue on your body. Like, my base metabolic rate went up hugely over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, probably by like 400 compared to when I was like a 140-pound twig. But yeah, it's small things. When you have more muscle, you are burning more calories by doing literally anything. Sleeping, walking, sitting, doesn't matter. Your body is working harder to maintain that tissue. It requires more energy, and thus you can eat more without gaining weight. So I would thoroughly recommend, in addition to a caloric management protocol, as I said, I don't think that 1,200 calories is a good decision. I'd up that by 200 at the minimum. I'd probably up it by 600 and just get you doing simple zone 1 and zone 2 cardio. So standing in front of a TV as opposed to sitting. Maybe using an under-desk cycle, walking for 20 minutes, just very gently, that sort of thing. That way we could get you to eat more regularly, but still maintain that caloric deficit. And in addition to that, start doing structured resistance training. Doesn't have to be a lot, doesn't have to be exceptional, but 3 days a week will really, really help you out long term. And especially if you are a new person, if you've not done resistance training before, you could potentially, this is if you're in sort of an optimal state, which, being overweight in a caloric deficit is not that optimal state. But you could gain 10 to 20 pounds of muscle in your first year. That's quite reasonable. And even the low end, 10 pounds of extra muscle is insanely good for the vast majority of people to put on that frame. I do some basic exercises with dumbbells and some squats here and there. On those days I do go up to 1,800 calories. I got you. Fair enough. But yeah, here and there is not really what you want to hear when you're talking about structured resistance training. Right, let's see what we can do, shall we? Chat. I feel like at the moment every single exercise is one of my favourite exercises. But I really like cable crunches as well. They are odd though, because as you'll see in a minute, they don't look that hard. They don't look like, when you're watching someone do them, they don't look like they're doing an awful lot. But I assure you, these really get you a good pump in your rectus abdominis. They really do. Okay. Let's see, what can we accomplish? This is not a working set, but right, so we're going up by 12 kilos to 42 kilos. So that's going to be fun. Cancellous bone tissue. How many bones in the body? 206. This is a impacted fracture. Oh, complicated and bad. What are some key functions of bones besides providing structural support? So they act as storage for substances like phosphorus, potassium, calcium. They offer protection, they offer muscle attachment, they facilitate movement. Anything else? Hematoesis, I guess. Or urethrogenesis. So production of blood cells as well. Nice. Bone fracture associated with lacerated soft tissue or an open wound. An open fracture. How do muscles create movement in the body? By contracting across joints. Right. Chat, we're going for 13. 13 repetitions. Give me a good song for this. The Great Escape. Oh, that might work. Need a little louder though, if you could. That's more like it. Wait, did I? That's 40. That is 40. I'm scanning myself. I'm sorry, abs. You clearly wanted to do 42, not 40. There you go. Now I'm gonna do 13 while I'm pretty fatigued. Great. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so that is it for our cutting phase ab work. Thank you so much everyone for dropping in, and yeah, I will do either Lethal Company or Subnautica tonight. In fact, shout out in chat what you would like to see. We'll see if we can get a winning vote. Lethal Company from Iron Eagle. Like Subnautica. Whew. We're 1 for 1. Anyone gonna tie the break? Might do some tiny cardio tonight. Not sure. Okay, looks like it's 1 for 1. Tell you what, I'll flip a coin later. That'll be a good way to decide. Until then, everyone, bye-bye. Farewell.